What is good, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. KG's back for a live stream today. Hello, everybody. It's been a couple of recorded videos lately, and I think I'm going to do a few more of those actually. Just sometimes when I want to get the message out quick or whatever it may be, I think it works better. But I thought today I'd go live, see if anyone's going to turn up and give their opinions on a couple of things today. Got a couple of things to discuss. And how is everyone doing? Yeah, man. Shout out to everyone in the chat so far. Karl Darlow is set to be announced. Listen, I'm counting it as a signing now. I don't know what the delay is, but I'm not waiting any longer for a £400,000 goalkeeper. I'm sorry, I don't know what the delay is, but let's just say that this signing is completed, yeah, and we'll go from there. Shout out to John Mermelstein for the super thanks on the last video, much appreciated. And yeah, keep smashing the likes, subscribing to the channel, man. That's how we do. What we saying? What we saying? Okay, so look, let's just get into it. Let's just get into it because, like I say, I don't know what the delay is with this whole thing, but it's going to be announced at some point this weekend, isn't it? Karl Darlow is set to complete this is from Tim Thorpe, my guy at Sky Sports. Tim, Leeds are expected to complete the signing of Newcastle goalkeeper Karl Darlow on a 3-year deal this weekend. Cool. I know, Damar. I'll be honest with you. I've been thinking that Damar saying Leeds always delayed, acting like we've signed Neuer. I don't know what the delay is. This is literally. I know he's probably going to be our first choice goalkeeper. I get it, but I don't get the delay. Maybe there's some paperwork issues or something like that. But this has been in the works for the last how many days? 4 or 5 days. I don't get it. I don't get the delay myself. So what we're going to have to do, people, is we're going to have to play new signing bingo. Are you willing to play that with me right now? Okay. And if there's anything different or additional that he says, we'll cover it in another video. So let's go. Let's go, people. Let's go new signing bingo. Karl Darlow, you've signed for the club. How do you feel? This is a brilliant move for me. Leeds United is a historic club. I'm looking forward to the challenge of getting this big club promoted again. You signed a 3-year deal. That's a long time. Yeah, well, I believe in the project. I believe in the manager. The manager spoke to me. He told me what my role would be, and I'm very happy. You've obviously come from Newcastle, which is a Champions League club, and come down to the Championship. That shows the belief you must have. It's an historic club. It's a historic club. And with the 49ers in charge, I believe that we can achieve great things at this football club. And it starts with promotion this season. Have I missed anything? Slice and bread, yeah. And we want to get this club back to where it belongs. Good one. That's a great one. Have we got any other bingo that we need to play with a new signing? Please, let's go. Anything else that we can quickly put in? If you got any, put them in the chat. But I just wish, and listen, this is a solid signing. I will say that. Oh, of course. Oh, Robert, this is a beautiful one. You've just jogged my memory. Great fan base. Whenever I've come to Ellen Road and played, the fans have been so loud, and I can't wait for them to be on my side in that support. There we go. Let's go. Famous E. Oh, the project. Oh, you guys, you're killing it. Spoke to the manager and loved the sound of the project. They always love the sound of it. They always love the sound of it. Darren Smith with the super chat. Thank you so much, Darren, for the support. Thank you. And J Jet saying need a picture in front of the side before self quote. Yeah, I think you know what, I think they might be cutting that out, J Jet. I just have a sneaky feeling that after the players that have signed in the last year, they're not going to really be taking pictures next to that one much longer. But yeah. And of course, CB, of course, great atmosphere in the world. Can't wait to play there in front of the fans. Yeah, of course, we've all got it. But listen, I wanted to touch on this as well in terms of the signing, because it's quite important that it just goes to show, please don't listen to everything you hear on the internet. Seriously, everything you read on Twitter. I know people are buying ticks these days and are looking official, but when you deep this, why is anyone going to sign a 32-year-old? And please, this is no disrespect to Karl Darlow, because I am happy with this, but this is factual here. He's 32 years old, and I believe he has a year left on his deal, and he's like 4th, 5th choice at Newcastle. Where does 6 million come from? Where does £6 million even come from? Why would someone just pluck that out the air? Even if someone had said 3 million, I would have said, well, that's a little bit high. But 400,000, that's a great price. That is a brilliant price. And it's one of these things where we've been shagged on prices before. And if we look at Dan James, where we paid the rivalry tax on that, he's never 25 million. And I think we've paid rivalry tax there. But I think with the Nick Hammond connection, and obviously got a good relationship with Newcastle, I think we've probably got a sweetheart's deal with this one. 400,000 to me, I think if it was another club, maybe it's 750,000 to a million or something like that. But 400,000, this is a great deal, people. This is a great deal. No matter what you think of him, if even if you're not convinced by him, that's a superb deal. Absolutely brilliant. 400,000. And it shows the good business that we've done so far in terms of the two signings. But we need more. Oh God, we need more. And we'll get onto some reasons why we need more in a bit. But yeah, Paul, I think they probably thought Victor Orta was still here, man. It would have been 18 million plus 10 million add-ons upon promotion or something like that. Yeah. No, it's a new era in terms of 49ers doing business. And let me say this, we will get overpay for certain players at some point. It's going to happen. The need for us wanting the player will outweigh what we believe they're worth. And that's where the selling club always has the advantage. But at the moment, 7 million for Ampadu. God, he should be in the Prem still. Really and truly, he should be. And 400,000 for Karl Darlow, brilliant. But the problem is we need others in other areas too. That's the thing, you know. Yeah, I mean, Sam, I'm on my knees. I'm begging on my knees because you know what it is with what I'm saying. Because in the last video, I gave quick thoughts about the friendly win against Forest. But there was a lot of comments saying, what about Paveda? What about Paveda? I'm like, whoa, is that all it took? Is that all it took? Just one performance against that version of Forest, and now Paveda's the answer at 10. As Ronaldo would say, you know, calma, calma. And I just wonder, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, maybe it's not true. Is it because we are now at the end of July and we haven't seen a 10 come in, we haven't seen a striker, we haven't seen the left back come in? Is it now the case of where fans are starting to think we're not going to get these players in? So, hey, maybe Poveda could play that role in the 10. Because if we're being real, Poveda is out and out winger. The way that he moves, the way that he plays football, he's a winger. And listen, we've always known Poveda's had the talent, but for whatever reason, over the last couple of years, it just hasn't worked. I know he had a big injury at Blackburn. I remember that. He had a underwhelming loan at Blackpool. It's obviously a new slate here, but for me to just come out after one performance against Forest and say he's the answer at 10, tranquillo, tranquillo, okay? You know what I mean? Famous, he's saying recency bias so bad, but he did look good in fairness. He did look a good in the game, but it's not a permanent solution. And I'll go to another player now in that same mold, and it's Sam Byram, who also got a bit of love. But I will say this: when you look at his performance on the day, there were so many times where we've been here over the years that if we had a natural marauding left back on that side, we would have had first time whip crosses or one touch whip cross. Sam Byram still had to do the thing where he'd get the ball in a promising position, and because he couldn't just whip it in off his left foot straight away, had to check back in, allow Forrest to get back into shape, and sometimes he wouldn't even cross it, he would just pass it back into midfield. No, we need a real left back there, not a centre back playing left back, not a right back playing left back. No, let's go out and get a real left back and not settle for, promising signs here and there. No, let's get the real article involved. You know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about in terms of wanting the best at this football club and not just trying to shoehorn players into positions just because it's looking a little bleak. Because for me, I'll be real with you, 2 signings by the end of July, it's disappointing. But let's not panic yet. The transfer window doesn't close for another good month or so. Let's see what we're going to do. Let's see what we can do in the market before we start shoehorning Paveda into the 10. Let's have a look. Aronson catching a stray there. Jacob here saying Byram also fighting probably for his last big contract. Will he have the same incentive once the season starts? Well, exactly. Yeah, you know, that's the thing for me. Let's just see what happens there. Let's just see what happens. If he gets a new contract, we'll support him and hope that he does the business for us. But let's try and look at a real left back first, please. That's all I ask, people. That's all I ask. And I just wonder if people are getting a little bit itchy feet because of the lack of activity. Because it's way less than I thought it was going to be at this point, really and truly. JTEX here saying, get Chris Richards in here. We need centre backs, plural. Yeah, plural, 100%. That's not a bad shout. I think he's going to get more game time with Palace. Plus, I think, well, there is a chance that he could get more game time because I think Gahey has been linked with a move back to Chelsea. So, again, things are going to be fluid in the Premier League. Their squads are still being assembled. And I think that we're going to swoop in and get a couple loan deals from the Prem as well once that kind of happens. But we still need to get more signings in the door now. You know what I mean? Yeah, HS, that's what I say. Since Ian Hart, we've had no left back. I go back that far. Some people say, you know, that we've had like Charlie Taylor or what's the guy's name that crossed it in for Becchio, man? How can I forget his name? Oh my days. Ben something. Ben, I've forgotten his name. But for me, when you're talking like out and out quality left backs that you can rely on, he was the last one for me. Let's have a look. Damar saying if Byram gets a contract, has to be 1 year max. I hear that. I hear that. That would be it for me as well. Maybe with an option by the club if he impresses. But yeah, I'm not looking to give Sam Byram an extended deal, you know, and then see him on the injury sidelines for the next 6 months. No, thank you. Ben Parker, yeah, that's it. Of course, it's Ben Parker. Sliced bread Ed saying we'll loan you Brandon Williams, quality player. Listen, Brandon Williams it's that same thing though. He's right-footed on the left back, and plus Ed, I think you would know, being a Man United fan, that he wouldn't come here. You know, he already just chewed out Rio Ferdinand for bigging up Man City. I hardly think he's going to turn up at Leeds United. Do you? um, Oh, famously, absolutely. But I think he's got a part to play with Chelsea this season. He's looked real good, real good. And I think they're trying to loan him out to a Premier League team. I think they want him to take that next step in his development. But Casadei is a baller, absolutely beautiful baller. But I think he's going to have a role at Chelsea this season, unfortunately. Let's have a look. But yeah, let's have a look. What are we saying here? Let me just see if there's anything else there. So Karl Darlow, that's done. Yeah, done that, done that. Okay, right. Right, here we go. Okay, some people aren't having Brandon Williams. Oh man. Michael here just saying good, both good bench options for the champ would probably be starters in over half the championship teams. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, Adams release clause. Yeah, I was going to move on to that Damar later, but yeah, let's just go with that quickly now because again, that's another thing that come up on in the comments, and that was because Ampadu is doing so well. Uh, he's done so well in the preseason so far. People are saying if Tyler Adams goes, so what? This is the problem that we've had over the past couple of years. Ampadu does get a red card. He does hold a red card or two in his career. If he goes out injured or suspended, then what? Unless Tyler Adams is to go and we get in another defensive midfielder, okay, cool. But if we're going to go back to this thing where you think having one player in a position is going to work, that's not the way it goes. That is not how it works. And I prefer, and this is where I was going with Archie Gray. I wanted to elaborate on that because I think people got a bit confused with what I was saying, and that's on me actually. But I would much rather have Tyler Adams in there sitting, holding in front of the defensive midfield, in front of the defense, and then Ampadu slightly ahead who can still defend, but his passing range is a bit more varied, a bit more spectacular than Tyler Adams in front. And then Archie Gray playing as like a hybrid 8/10. Because the thing with me with Archie Gray is that he's got the intelligence and the movement to be in that 10 and create stuff. He loves to get a shot off, as we've seen. And I think that midfield, to me, that sounds good. That sounds good to me anyway, in terms of how I would set up if Tyler Adams is to stay. Obviously, this report here that was partnered with Phil Hay says that he's got 20 million, around 20 million release clause. But obviously, that's dependent on a club coming in for him while he's injured. And will they do that? I can see a club coming in for him when he's injured and saying, if it works, great. If not, it's 20 million. So yeah, I would keep both. That for me is strength in depth, and that's the problem that we haven't had. I revert back to, if you've got Tyler Adams or Ampadu, sitting out for a game, if we don't want to play two defensive minded midfielders, you feel good about that, don't you? But I refer back to the Premier League where we had Forshaw, Bamford, and Ayling sitting on the bench together, and I'm thinking, no wonder we're struggling. That's the problem that we've had. We haven't had the quality in depth. We've had depth, but not quality. Um, so Jason, Jason saying, is Tyler Adams really that good? I like his personality and grit more than his talent. Jason, when he was in the team, it's one of those things, just like Calvin Phillips, and Calvin Phillips used to get this all the time as well. Is Calvin Phillips actually that good? Well, yeah, when he's out the team, you notice, because we never had a replacement, did it? It was Calvin Phillips or bust. When Tyler Adams went out the team, you saw what was happening. You saw how even more exposed we were on the counter attack when he wasn't there, cleaning up the messes at right back that our right backs, whoever it was, would leave. He's one of those players where if he's playing well, you don't notice it, but if he has a bad game, you notice it, or if he's missing, you go, that's what he does. For me, he is one of those kind of players, and his passing range, even though I've said that Ampadu's got more of a range, it's not the worst in the world. It's just that he keeps it simple a lot more than Ampadu does. But why not keep them both if you can? I would much rather have that than, I mean, I've heard about the Meslier, people saying we've got Darlow and Meslier, keep both. I don't see the point in keeping Meslier when we've got Klaassen there as number 2. Because I don't see Darlow coming in if he's going to be number 1 and not playing 46 games, barring any red cards. I think he's going to play. And Darren here saying, Tyler Adams saying, sorry, Darren saying Tyler Adams is good. I think he already proved last season he's one of the best at the role he does. And that's it. And, when you've got fans of clubs like Liverpool who are actually going through a midfield rejuvenation right now, Villa, who are on the up, when you're seeing these clubs, fans of these clubs going, if Tyler Adams is available for 20, we should have a look at that. That kind of tells you a story. Really, it really should. But this is the problem. Out of sight, out of mind. People have probably forgotten, but he was important to us. Very, very important. HS saying, KG, do you think Barry Douglas wasn't given a chance at left back? He was a crock. He was an absolute crock. He was injured. It was another one of those where he looked spectacular in another team, looked brilliant at Wolves. We thought we finally solved the problem. And he was meek. Even when he played, he wasn't the strongest either. He was always injured. We thought we'd get some free kicks out of him. I don't know if he even scored one. No, it was a flop signing, absolute flop. Michael saying keep Meslier as number 2 will only reduce his price in the future if he ain't playing week in, week out. I think his value is at its lowest right now, to be fair, Michael. And if they're not looking to sell, I made the suggestion on another video and saying maybe loan him out and see if you can get his value back up, because right now we're selling him at the lowest. But listen, speaking of value at the lowest, what Segway King. Now, I was going to speak about this yesterday. I thought the Darlow thing would have been done yesterday, people. But let's talk about this today, as there's been no further update on it. But Pascal Struijk has got interest over in Belgium of Club Brugge. And again, we're talking about players that are values at their lowest. This is where Struijk is as well. His value couldn't be any lower right now. But this is reported by a couple people. And Mike, I never know how to say his name, but Van Hoy. Let's say Van Way, yeah, Van Way. He's usually pretty good as well in that. So Club Brugge hold an interest in Pascal, and it's always those kind of teams, don't you? You always forget. You always think, who's going to want to sign Pascal Struijk? But then you always forget those like teams that are big in Europe, but They're not quite good enough to get to the latter stages of the Champions League or what have you, but they're big in their country, and Club Brugge comes under that. Although they did have an impressive Champions League run last season, didn't they? Verway, that could be it, Guy Fawkes. But this makes sense to me. But I don't know if they're going to have the money what we're possibly going to ask for Pascal. I think that Daniel Farker probably sees a role for him here. Um, so I don't know. I don't know about this one. And it was just confirmed as well, just by somebody else. Um, Sasha Sasha Tolvaleri. There we go. Yeah, yeah. Name's kicking my ass right now. But yeah, so obviously there is a registered interest in there by Club Brugge. Will they get a deal done? Who knows? I saw the interview people are talking about where Pascal said that he's here to stay, but I didn't hear it like that. I heard him say that he's got 4 years left on his contract. I don't know if he said outright that he wants to stay and fight. Maybe he did say that at some point, but you have to understand, for me, people, I don't listen to a lot of these players talk anymore. Talk is cheap from a lot of these guys, I'm afraid. But I know that he definitely said I got 4 years left on my deal. So it's kind of like, I don't know if I'm going to go anywhere with that much time on my contract. Um, Michael's saying, do you think Pascal can get back to his best under Farker? It's not out of the question, Michael. It really isn't. And you guys know what I feel about Pascal Struijk in previous years. He's at his lowest now. I disagreed with that tweet that was going around saying if you're judging him by being a left back, what a load of nonsense. And because you don't, there's simple basics you can do when you're playing out of position, and he wasn't doing them. He was literally being targeted when he was playing because his confidence was so low. And who can forget when he had the captain's armband versus Cardiff? It was a disaster. Like, this is what happens sometimes. People try and make things look better. If things were better, we wouldn't be in the championship right now. There was a plethora of bad performances over the season by many players, and he was one of them. He was a big one, in fact. um Gail saying she doesn't mind if Strout goes. Damar saying 100% KG. We can all talk a good show, but actions speak louder than words, and we're going to get onto that in a bit as well when it comes to our captain. No, Scott Parker isn't at Bruges anymore, guys. He got sacked. I think Ronnie Delia is their manager now. But yeah, but I'm not saying that Struijk is a lost cause. And if the window closes and he's here, I'd be interested to see if Parker can get something more out of him. But even when he was talking in that interview, I need to see more aggression from this guy. I need him to believe in himself more. And that's half the battle with Pascal. If you've seen Pascal in real life, he's got a good frame on him, man. He's a big guy, but you'd never believe it. And people saying about maybe it was the whole Harvey Elliott injury that's knocked his confidence. If that's done you, then you might as well quit, because that was years ago now. And Harvey Elliott even said it was an accident. So it can't be that. He's just got to be more aggressive. He's got to believe in himself a bit more. Let's have a look. I mean, what famously seems he's lost that. He never had the dog. Nah, Pascal never had the dog. It was a puppy. It is a puppy, famously. He never had the dog. He's not in that category, I'm afraid. But you would have hoped that he would have grown into it. He's 23 now. He's not young, and he's quite experienced for his age as well. And he just has to be stronger, believe in himself, go into tackles and believe he's going to win it. But his mentality for me is kind of on the floor. But we'll see if he stays here. Let's see. Let's see what happens with the whole Club Brugge thing. But yeah, so we got that one. We've done that. What else is there? Done the Adams one early. But yeah, the Liam Cooper. Let's talk about the Liam Cooper thing. Let me just, people talking about Darlow. Darlow will be announced at some point, people. And when it does, I will change the thumbnail to when he's in the Leeds kit. So don't worry about the change. But yeah, the Liam Cooper phrase that's gone around and has, given passion merchants a new lease of life. I don't see it in that kind of simple way, I'm afraid. Because there's so many things that you could say in regards to the Liam Cooper thing. Um we've heard about what he said after the Tottenham game. And if anybody doesn't want to be here, then you can do one. Obviously, having to keep it clean for YouTube purposes. But what is the standard that's being held there in that sentence? What is the standard that's being held? Because he's a Leeds United fan, first of all, Liam Cooper. Yeah, any one of us could have said that. Literally, any one of us could have said, "If you don't want to be here, get lost." That's standard basic stuff. But obviously, we all know Leeds United as a fan base at its core is more passion merchanty than any other fan base for me. It's all about what you say, not really how you play on the pitch, and that's evident over the last couple of years. But it's almost like it's the right message, but it's from the wrong person delivering it. Because is there any self accountability in that phrase for him? Is there any self accountability there? Because if you've been available, you haven't always been the best. And when you haven't been available, you've been unavailable for far too many periods. So what is the standard here? What and that phrase as well, if you don't want to be here, get lost. What if one of the worst players have said, I want to stay? Will you then as captain say, you haven't been up to the level, you're not going to be good enough for this football club, this great football club of Leeds United? It's probably best that you find another place to play. He's probably not going to say that. It's for me, it's empty platitudes as well. After we've been relegated, it's easy pickings because you know that a lot of the players that you're speaking to there will have interest from other clubs around Europe, whereas you're probably not going to have much interest. And listen, I will never dog on him for being not a great captain. I've heard about all the stuff off the pitch. He's brilliant off the pitch. He's a brilliant captain off the pitch. But what's the standard on it? Seriously, Lewis here, the message itself was a little too late. And this is another thing I was going to say. You've let the cat out of the bag of what you said behind the scenes after the Spurs game. That's cool. Can someone ask him what was said after the West Ham game, where West Ham was half drunk and not even trying and still put us to bed 4-1 and allowed a player to dance for us like we weren't there? What was said after that game? What was said after the Leicester game, where Bamford could literally give us 3 precious points? What was said after that game? We could have many other instances of what you've said after other games, but after we've been relegated, sorry, that's it's lazy. It's easy. Anyone could do that. And yeah, Paul, it is. It's good PR from Cooper. It's a great soundbite. Paul, I can imagine any Leeds fan in a pub in West Yorkshire saying exactly what Liam Cooper said. It's brilliant. It plays to Leeds fans' general mentality so well. It's easy stuff. But I dig deeper into these kind of things, and I want to know where the wins are coming from. Whereas you have captain, you've led this team, whether you've been available or not, to less than 20 wins in the last 2 years. Are you taking that into account as well under your leadership? So that's what I'm saying. It's on surface level, sounds great, doesn't it? It sounds, oh yeah, lead, yeah. But when you dig deep into it after the couple years we've had, there's a lot to reflect on there. Andrew here, thanks for keeping it real. That's all I know how to be, man. That's all I know how to be. Darren saying we need a new captain. Enough said. And this is what I've been trying to say in streams where I've spoken about Marco Reus at Dortmund, long-serving captain, not going to play every game. He's passed the armband done, even though he's still going to stay at Dortmund. So there's no issue there. We've seen Harry Maguire get stripped to the captaincy. He got out in front of it first and said, "I'm not going to be captain anymore." I feel like we need that from him, because if he's going to have some self-reflection, he should possibly focus on not being the captain of Leeds and trying to keep himself fit. Is there anything that you can do as a player to keep yourself a bit fitter? Can you change your diet? Is there some foods that you're eating? Because we heard about that with Mikel Antonio. He was always getting hamstring injuries. Then he looked into it, he got some help, and he realized there were certain foods he was eating that were not helping his hamstrings, and he cut them out, and now he's injury-free. He doesn't get hamstring pulls every so often anymore. There's things you can do, but you know me, I'm big on self accountability. But I'm sure no one cares about that, but I do. I do care about that. A lot of shouts for Ampadu as captain. That's pretty big. I'm still Tyler if he's to stay. For me, if he's fit again, I would have Tyler first off. But Ampadu as leader. I mean, he's just fresh in, and we know we don't do that here at Leeds, man. You got to put in some time before you become captain. um, but yeah, that's all I would say in regards to the Liam Cooper stuff. I've just felt like there was just so much more that we could have got from it rather than just a cheap soundbite, which is going to appease a lot of people. But when you want to win, which is something that I want to do, it doesn't appease someone like myself. I'm afraid, it just doesn't. Um, but yeah, Keith, problem is he will see on social media hyping him up, so he'll think the fan base want him as captain. Yeah, I mean, I've seen it already, Keith. You see it all the time. He's Leeds, he gets Leeds, and all this kind of stuff. I mean, yeah, cool. How about some good football players? Is that too much? But yeah, listen, it did what it was supposed to. The propaganda work, it was designed to do that. But I will always go into it in a bit more detail on here of what I think of certain things. I mean, even with Luke Ayling, as I say, I didn't listen to it in full. I can't listen to these guys in full. But just hearing him talk about having the fans back for the promotion, it will be great to do that. I go the other way and say it would have been great for the fans to celebrate us getting into Europe. You know, I look the other way. I just don't feel like there's enough winning mentality here. I feel like it's more about just being comfortable and happy to be here, and that's what's got us into trouble. But yeah, but let's see what happens anyway. Let's see what happens. Now I'm gonna share something here, and I'm gonna regret this, and I know I know I'm gonna regret this. And this doesn't mean, I need to say this now before I get this picture up. This does not mean that I want this guy back. I don't want anyone to go, oh, I wish we had Ali. I know it's going to happen though, and I'm going to regret it, but I'm going to have to show it because this is unbelievable when you look at it now. Compared to when he first left, this is unreal now. Look at this picture. Alioski there with some absolute ballers here. Riyad Mahrez, and I think as well. I think if it serves me correct, I think Saint Maximin is joining them. Now I don't rate Saint Maximin like that, but in the Saudi league he'll probably cook a little more. You know, he's got Mendy in goal. Did Alioski, was he onto something when he first left? Did he know something was going to happen or something? Crazy, crazy man. Like it goes in it. Apart from Rafinha, this is probably the best group of players that he's actually played football of technical ability. I mean, Mahrez by himself is probably, superior to everyone that we've had. Unbelievable stuff, isn't it? I know there's going to be people in the comments. I'm ready for it. We should get Alioski back for the championship. He's not Premier League, but he's championship. I know it's coming, and I'm bracing myself for it. But shout out to him, man. This is one incredible five-a-side team here. I'm not gonna lie. Damar, who let Alioski into that pick? Yeah, man. Oh, yeah, he's loving life. And this is what I said when he left. I said it was when he left, he was never a Premier League player, not in a million years. That guy used to trip over the ball when he tried to pass it. He was never a Premier League player. But he went to Saudi. He's got the his family settled and probably set up for life. But he was ahead of the curve with this stuff. Look at all the players that have gone, and there's some real good teams that have gone out there. Milinkovic Savic is out there with, I think, who's his midfield partner? There's some teams there with some real good players in there. But yeah, shout out to Alioski, man, with this picture. I can't lie, it's cold. It's real cold, and something I never thought I'd see. But there you go. I'm gonna regret it, but it is what it is. Ain't easy being Leedsy. The other four just happy they're next to Alioski rather than Firpo. Lord have mercy. Tremendous. Michael here, Passion Merchant here, never Prem level, but always gave 100%. Michael, you and I could give 100%. Don't mean we should be playing Premier League for Leeds United, does it? But no, I understand the sentiment, but nah. Yeah, it could be. Yeah, Ruben Neves, Milinkovic Savic, and I think there's somebody else, Guy Fawkes. There's another one that makes one cold midfield trio. Like there's some real good teams being made out in that Saudi league. I might have to like sneak a peek. One time. But yeah. Yeah, Demar. That's how I saw him. Alioski, good pace, energy, technically not good enough. Nowhere near good enough. You know what it is? People always forget about how many times he would sky that cross into the crowd, how much he would hit the ball over the top of the bar. It happened more often than not with Alioski, man. It wasn't good. But listen, he was one of those characters that you love in the dressing room. Hate to play against him, but yeah, Premier League, yeah, never for me. Yeah, Verratti's linked. He's linked with there's some cold sides being made out in Saudi. But listen, people, I'm gonna leave it there. Let me just see. Have they announced um have they announced it officially yet? No. So we'll go with all the new signing bingo that we went with at the start of the video. If there's anything additional, we'll add it in the next video. All right. I hope you've enjoyed the stream anyway. Like I say, there will be more recorded videos, streams. We'll mix it up here. Just hit the notification bell so you know when I've uploaded a video or going live. Drop your comments and subscribe, and please hit the like on the video. Best way to support the channel and helps other people see it too. Is there anything before we go? HS here. KG, please convince my wife it's our 20th anniversary. All I'm asking is for Leeds tickets. Her name is Ange. Help her brother out. Well, HS, Ange, if you're listening, listen, we might actually win some football games this season. So please, if you've got it in you, in your heart, Ange, please get some Leeds tickets for HS here. And, maybe that person, HS, will do the housework for a week. I don't know. Maybe they'll take care of every other errand that you've got. Just get him the tickets, please. Please do that. And of course, people, while I'm here as well, follow me on Instagram, same name, KG Vision. Love to see you over there. Peace out, and I'll see you in the next one, guys.